What's good, everyone? This your main correspondent, Alan Taylor, and I'm back in the broadcast room yet again, always with another one. And yes, indeed, it is another one. So we have an update on the port situation and things like that that's happening on the East Coast. And apparently, they came to a small agreement, and they are giving the port, the dock workers, like a 62% increase in wage, and they're trying to sustain this until January 15th out here. Okay, so I'm glad they're trying to do something to figure this out. I'm glad that both sides are maybe trying to work together and things like that to try to get some things resolved to a degree. We got the holidays coming up, stuff like this is going on here. And for this to hit the fan like this will be a major issue, especially with the holidays and all of the things that are going on. We have the natural disaster that just happened, things like that. So yeah, let's go here now. Let's check this out. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
The pause is to buy more time for both sides to negotiate a new contract. Now, this is good news for consumers as we head into the holiday shopping season.
All right, Fox 5's Teresa Caprillo joins us live in Elizabeth, New Jersey tonight. Teresa.
Yes, Steve and Natasha, word came down this evening that the strike is on hold until January 15th. As you mentioned, this gives both camps about 3 months to hammer out a new 6-year deal. This is certainly a welcome resolution considering they were expecting this to go on for weeks. It's time for the ports to begin working again for the first time since 12:01 Tuesday morning. 36 ports along the eastern and Gulf Coast will resume operations, thanks to a pause in the strike between the International Longshoremen Association, the ILA, and the company that controls the ports and contracts with the shipping carriers, USMX. In a joint statement, the two sides said the International Longshoremen's Association, the ILA, and the United States Maritime Alliance, USMX, have reached a tentative agreement on wages and have agreed to extend the master contract until January 15th to return to the bargaining table to negotiate all other outstanding issues. Effective immediately, all current job actions will cease and all work covered by the master contract will resume. That master contract expired Tuesday morning. The new tentative agreement on wages will provide a 61.5% increase over 6 years. There's been no other agreements on automation or other contract items. James Mercanti is a maritime
I've said
attorney.
from the beginning, I think automation is the sticking point. Automation is when they use the term, the ILA uses the term job security, they're talking about automation. That's something that they seem not to be able to live with because that's taken away jobs from them.
We're told the longshoremen were prepared to strike for weeks if that's what it took. For every strike day, it's estimated it would take 3 to 5 days to clear the backlog of ships waiting to enter port. The quick turnaround coming on the heels of an enormous amount of pressure to resolve this dispute, including the desperate need for supplies to hurricane-ravaged North Carolina and Florida.
If they came together because of the Hurricane Helene and the relief that they needed in the East Coast ports to help those people, then that's very commendable. Like in law, we say that a good settlement is better than a bad trial. Well, a good pause is better than a long strike.
This also means that all of the panic buying that we started to see at Costco and Sam's Club and BJ's and places like that of items that are strangely made here in the U.S. so they weren't in short supply, well, all of that can end and we can all go back to normal. That's the latest from Port Newark tonight. Natasha, back to you.
Okay, so yeah, food. Definitely sorry for that on my end. I don't know whether you guys heard or not. It's a little audio that's on their end. And this situation is crazy out here. But listen, look, we're about to go here now, and we're about to check out and see what brother Anton Daniels had to say on this particular situation right here. Because of course, as we all know, this was a very serious situation. So obviously they came to some type of agreement. They're pausing this thing. The negotiations are not over with, but they're pausing it for a minute because listen, look, even they will be affected during this holiday season too. as longshoreman workers. They have families, they have children, things like that they're going to want to buy toys and gifts for. They even know certain things too. So let's go here now. Let's see what Brother Anton had to say. Quarters, nickels, and dimes, people.
What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Well, looks like you don't have to go and get toilet paper anymore, and y'all got to stop trying to do the same thing that y'all did during the pandemic when y'all was raiding Costco and Walmart and all of these places, and you thought that you was going to run out of paper towel and baby wipes and condoms and Plan Bs and all of that stuff. Don't worry. It's all coming on in. It's going to come on in because the longshoremen agreed to a temporary contract. Now, I'm going to break that down for you guys so that you'll truly understand it from a C student's perspective. But essentially, the longshoremen agreed to up to January 15th. Now, I'm going to share with you why this is important, why that date is important, and how politics played a huge role in getting this temporary deal done. All right, so let's just go ahead and jump right into the article. Courtesy of the Washington Post, it says, the striking dock workers reached a tentative agreement with port operators on Thursday for a 62% wage increase and have extended their contract through January 15th to bargain over the remaining issues, meaning the longshoreman was seeking around a 77% wage increase over 6 years, which equated to the equivalent of about 12.8% per year, roughly. I'm a C student, so don't kill me over my math.
Right. They were seeking 77%. But the thing of this is what it breaks down to. They got together, figured out on 62. Huge increase from where they was at. Okay, cool. Real talk. Now, there's still other amenities that they're going to have to negotiate. That's the reason why they haven't stopped. They got this point right here. So yeah, let's keep the trucks moving. Let's keep the barges moving. Let's keep the economy going, basically. Let's keep going.
But that's around what it equated to. And the companies were at about 55%. So they had already negotiated over the last 6 months up to 55%. They met somewhere in the middle at about 62% of a wage increase over 6 years. So the base salary for the majority of these longshoremen is somewhere around 80 to 90,000, and probably increase to a little over $100,000 a year. But with overtime, a lot of them make well over $300,000 a year.
Right. See, these are the men, all the women out here nowadays. Them the men right there that's making 300,000. But yeah, they don't have a cool job. It's not cool to be a longshoreman. That's neither here nor there, though. That's neither here nor there. But yeah, there you go with your 6 figures,
including the crane operators. And that's the thing that a lot of people were complaining about. They was like, hey, listen, if they don't want these jobs, we can bring in the migrants. And everybody started turning on the unions, especially when they started talking about shutting down the United States of America and we started having this hurricane. Now, when I seen Ron DeSantis come out and he was like, hey, wait a minute, we need supplies over there in Asheville, North Carolina. They suffering. We got to rebuild. We need, things to still come into our.
Now, hold on for Anton go a little bit further. My question is, how many of the migrants can they bring in fast enough to replace those union workers? How fast can they get them in? And then also also understand where I'm coming from. How fast can they get them in? And also, will they be actually skilled to run those cranes? Will they actually be skilled to do the straps that it takes to actually secure the tankers down to those barges? Will they be skilled enough to do that? Because it takes training to do certain things like this. So, yeah. Will we leave the skills that need to be had over actual teaching of years to just immigrants that just came in the America just recently? Yeah.
Our ports, that started to become a problem. That's when they started to dig into the union leader bosses' finance. Hey, man, this guy make $900,000 a year. He got yachts. Elon Musk started jumping in. He jumped in with a tweet or two. They said that he was living this lavish lifestyle, driving around Bentleys and all of this stuff. So it started to become personal. But
I get that. But at the same time, though, too, listen, look, if he's worked hard since 1960 something to build himself up like that. And this is the point right here. Y'all could go back on my page. I've posted already the interview that the president of the Longshoremen's Association did. He said he's been doing this since the 60s. So he's built himself up to that. Okay, I mean, at this point, I mean, Jesus Christ, can he have a boat or two? But by this point, has that man not built himself up? You know, and I'm not negating anything that Anton's saying, because I'm on Anton's side with this, but I'm talking about it. I'm trying to bring another thought process to the situation to add on to what Anton's saying. All I'm saying is here is he not allowed to have certain amenities because he's built himself? He's been in this industry since the late 60s as a young man. He built himself up to this. Is he not allowed to have a yacht? Is he not allowed to have a few fancy cars? Okay. All right, then. So, all right.
The longshoreman was arguing over several different things. And the reason that this is only extended through January 15th to solve for the rest of the issues, which primarily remains around automation, and we're going to get into that in a second, is because they don't want the union to be weakened and they don't want their jobs to go away. And so what they're doing is they're fighting for the future of their children, especially considering that you only have to have a high school diploma or a GED to become a longshoreman, which isn't a bad thing. But then people are saying, hey, listen, I wish I could make that type of money. I wish I could run that type of bag up. Well, go and do it. Goes on to say the deal suspends a 4-day strike that threatened to disrupt the U.S. economy less than 5 weeks before the presidential election, meaning that.
I'm going to cut in real quick. We ain't building men out here tough enough anymore to get out there and be longshoremen. I'm sorry, but we're not. We're not. That's a problem. That's the problem. That's the reason why these corporations are actually foreseeing the future, you know, and seeing that, yes, our society is not building men strong enough to get out there, risk their lives and things like that. If you go back and what I did about the president, the video I did about the president, the broadcast I did about the president, you know, the Longshoremen's Corporation, he said clearly that they lost men on those barges. Deaths were happening. This is a dangerous job. So how many men are we actually building in society today, you know what I'm saying, from birth and these families and stuff like that, that are willing to get out there and risk their lives to provide amenities and things like that for the rest of society? Are we building men strong enough to get out there and risk their lives like that? That's all I'm saying. Let's keep going.
This was important to the Biden administration. It was very, very important to the Biden administration, and more importantly to the Kamala Harris administration, because Biden didn't want his legacy to be left with a strike while we're only 5 weeks away from the presidential election, which initially he was supposed to be the running mate. You know, he was supposed to be the one that was winning, and he was supposed to be seeking a second term, and they pushed him out. Shout out to Nancy Pelosi and Kamala Harris. But more importantly, how would this have crippled Kamala Harris's campaign? Because it would have fed more into what J.D. Vance and largely Trump have been saying is, look, with all of these issues that's going on right now, especially with the hurricane, FEMA ran out of money, giving the people $750. With all of these issues that's happening right now.
Hey, sorry, FEMA didn't run out of no money. At the end of the day, though, the Biden administration took money from FEMA, and at the end of the day, though, giving it to the migrants out here. Seriously.
How would this affect you even worse when we say that, hey, they still in office and inflation is going to be spiraling out of control? They cost in the American economy estimated $4.2 to $5 billion a day. It's going to take them a week for every day that they strike. And even though they only struck for 4 days, Biden didn't want to exercise his executive action and say, hey, y'all got to go back to work for the next 90 days. And so it had just been becoming absolutely positively a bad situation for everybody involved, because it had become a major talking point of Republicans. They started to ramp up attacks on that front, including myself, yours truly. And Democrats were starting to reel because they was anticipating people not being able to afford anything anymore, on top of the inflation that they experienced over the last 3.5 years. So they wanted to get this deal done. Goes on to say the International Longshoremen's Association, the ILA, that's their abbreviation, had been seeking substantial wage increases, which they got. You start high and you negotiate low. And a ban on the introduction of additional automation at 36 East and Gulf Coast ports. And that was the main sticking point. And that's the reason why they said, listen, we only extending this over until January 15th. After the election, we know that the president, whoever it is when is going to take office. And January, I think January 20th or something like that. November election, we can push this through that way that this is a non-issue. We ain't got to worry about all of the attacks. We ain't got to worry about all of the ads from the Republican side.
Right. And also that they can actually allow the economy and America to go through the holidays without all this stress and strife.
So what the French toast is there to think about?
Let's just be honest.
You can't make this shit up.
That's just the truth. They can allow the American economy to be at ease and go through the holidays without all this strife and stuff like that. Like I said earlier, though, they have families too that they're going to want to buy Christmas presents and Thanksgiving and all this other type of stuff. Halloween's coming up. I mean, yeah, I can get it. I can get it. Let's keep going.
It's sad saying, hey, these people don't know how to get a deal done. So this largely works in the Democrats' favor. And I would assume, especially since Harold Daggett, who is the union boss leader, and he started calling Biden out and said, hey, Biden abandoned us after the Baltimore port situation. And we had to come out of our own pocket to make sure our own people was taken care of. And he had no money to pay the people that was laid off, but they took care of the boats.
Right. And then, too, you got Kamala out there talking about she down in Georgia talking about she ain't got but $750 for people to sign up for, but then people ain't got the internet to even sign up for the
Thank
shit.
me in the morning.
You ain't right, man.
Oh, I'm right. You'll see.
They don't even have the internet to sign up to get the $750. So I mean, this is crazy out here. It's crazy.
When he started talking, I believe that phone call started to be made. And so Harold Daggett, they started digging into him. They started digging into his finances. People started, it was almost like a campaign started to be waged against the union itself.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I started to see TikToks and Instagrams go viral of them showing automation at the Long Beach port and how they was going to be replacing their jobs. And I still believe that automation is going to be the key. I don't think that the wages was the heavy lifting. The wages wasn't a thing because usually what companies do is they innovate, right? You raise wages, we raise prices, pass them over to the consumer, and then we automate you out of a job by including AI and having less liability, less lawsuits, less issues, less insurance payouts. 17 people, according to the ILA boss, died last year on the ports. They said that it's an incredibly dangerous job. And so, when you think about the level of issues that was starting to be risen as a result of all of these ports being shut down, over there on Long Beach, they were saying, hey, y'all can redirect y'all stuff over here. Truck drivers were starting to complain because they was like, hey, you affecting our livelihood. Grocery stores were starting to stock up because they was preparing for a long strike. And so it was in everybody's best interest to get this done. And now you are stuck with a whole load of toilet paper because you wanted to load up on it and you thought that it was going to be the same thing that happened as a result of the pandemic. You ain't stock up on vegetables. You ain't stock up on none of that. Canned goods, you stocked up on toilet paper because you ain't learned your lesson the first time. But I'm going to keep you guys up to date on what's happening with this, of course, as usual. As it comes in, I will give it out to you. I am the first person to report on it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel.
Shout out to Anton. Shout out to Anton. And yes. Definitely subscribe to Anton channel too, man. You know what I'm saying? Anton be on the shit, man. Seriously, though. No bull. Man, I love the Anton, man. But yes, this is a very this is very serious now. So you know what I'm saying? At this point right now, yeah, we got till January 15th. Of course, who knows what's going to happen? This is going to be after the election. We figure out who's going to be the president, things like that. It's a lot of strategical things in play right here. We're still on the line with this longshoreman situation. But then, too, we're still on the line. We're trying to figure out who's going to be the best leader of the free world. So, yeah, it's a lot of things. It's a lot of weight on us as the citizens of this country right now with all the other stuff going on, the illegal immigration, all types of crazy things. So, yeah, it's a lot that's going on right now. And, yeah, we are in dire straits over here right now in America. And, hey, it is what it is, though, man. Hey, shout out to all my subscribers. Mad love to y'all. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like, share, subscribe button. Make sure you ring that bell to be notified whenever I decide to post things. And like I always say,
and that, my friends, is the bottom line.
That, my friends, is the bottom line.